I'm going to go over level 2 training on the TESA height. The 3 procedures I'm going to go over are changing a probe, doing an offset, and measuring parallelism. To begin with, I'm going to change out the standard probe that's on the TESA height right now, and I'm going to put in a probe that will not touch the surface plate. So as you can see, it doesn't touch the surface plate. So if I want my surface plate set at 0, the first thing I have to do is calibrate the probe because I put on a different tip. So I go through my calibration procedure, and I'm ready to start taking my measurements. And I'm going to have a 1-inch gauge block because that's the easiest thing to do. So I hit my indirect reference, the symbol's right there. I hit the button below it, and this allows me to key in a number. I'm going to put in the number 1, and I'm going to hit the check mark to enter it. And I come over here, take a probe hit twice as I'm establishing my datum point. So now I've got my surface plate set at 0. So when I hit on this 2-inch gauge block, I'm going to just be short of 1/10 of 2 inches. So now the other reason you'd want to do an indirect reference or an offset is I can rotate the arm. This is a 3.5-inch probe arm on here. And if I have a known height, let's say this part right here is 8.5 inches, because I'm still going to want the surface plate set at 0. So I can go over here, I can do my indirect reference, and I'm going to key in 8.5 inches. I'm going to hit the enter button, and I go down and touch off of it. And now my surface plate is still at 0, but I've got an extra 7 inches out of any of the height gauges that you use. The next procedure I'm going to go over is parallelism. To do parallelism, I'm going to put on the standard probe again. Again, I got to go through and calibrate it. So now I'm calibrated. Now that offset I put in that at 8.5 inches is still in there, so I have to actually cancel that out. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to hit 0. I have to hit my enter key again. So now I can go down and establish the surface plate as my reference point again. To do parallelism, I'm going to go over here, and I have to hit my home key. The home key parallelism icon's right there, so I hit the button below it. It tells me to start parallelism. There's 2 different ways you can measure, either absolute or differential measurement. If I want to see absolute, I'm going to go down and touch off the surface plate, and that's going to be my datum point. And then I'm going to come up here on my workpiece. I'm going to put a little shim underneath of it. I come down here. I've got pressure on my probe right now. I want to be in the green spot up here between these 2 lines. And then I just take and thumb tighten it. So now it's locked. I hit my go or enter key. And now I can just tram the workpiece, and I can either move the height gauge or move the part. It doesn't matter. When I'm finished, I hit the check mark. And this is telling me the total deviation in reference to the surface plate. If I hit that again, that tells me the low amount or the negative amount. And there, that tells me the positive amount. And again, that's absolute measurement. If I want to see differential, I can go back in here to the main menu. I unlock my probe. And this time I'm going to establish the top of my part that I'm measuring as my datum point. So again, I come down here, I put pressure on it. When I've got green bars, I lock it. I hit my start button, and I tram the piece again that I want to check. I hit my done key. And this again tells me the total deviation that I've traveled. I hit that. It tells me 1/10 of it was negative. It tells me all the rest of it was positive. And I go back to that. That's my total. That concludes level 2 training.